For more analysis on this, let's speak to Ayesha Kajee, who's joining us from Durban. Ayesha, really good to speak to you. Thanks for joining us. Just how surprised were you by the closeness of this vote?
I think everybody was expecting it to be close, but perhaps not this close. Really, just 21 votes separating Mr. Zuma staying or going. It's really close indeed. I think everyone was surprised by just how close that was, and it gives some indication of just how much disenchantment there is with this president from within his own party. It's also going to be a very strong impetus within the ANC for Mr. Zuma to now go at the ANC's elective conference at the end of this year. There are already indications from senior party members privately who are saying that he's been given an ultimatum that he now really has no option but to step down. But of course, those close to Mr. Zuma are going to be seeking a successor who will protect his interests rather than perhaps go after him for the corruption and the fraud that he's perpetrated on the people of South Africa. So many are saying that the strongest contender for the top spot from the Zuma allies is going to be his former wife, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. And if that is so, then perhaps South Africans are really not going to be exchanging much of a difference in leadership in terms both of the ANC, the leadership of the party, and one assumes then the eventual leadership of the country, the presidency.
I mean, we'll come on to who may take over for him in a moment. But just kind of looking back at the things that Jacob Zuma has been accused of, going back to when he became president, I mean, there were rape allegations, there, as you mentioned, these corruption and bribery allegations. It's taken quite a long time for not his entire party to turn against him. Do you think we have actually now seen the final sort of moments of the Zuma presidency?
Well, I think those final moments will only really come at the end of the ANC's elective conference. I think we're very, very likely to see Mr. Zuma step down at that conference. But as I said, the major thing then is going to be who succeeds him, and does that person have the Zuma interests at heart? Will the network of patronage and nepotism and corruption that is now so rampant in the higher levels of government, will that be dismantled by a successor or won't it? And of course, what is also really frightening post this vote, happening right now as we speak, are senior members of government, cabinet ministers, saying that the ANC will rule forever, going on a witch hunt against those members of the ANC who dared to vote against Mr. Zuma, because as your previous analyst Melanie said, there were at least 40 people who did actually vote for the motion of no confidence brought by the opposition. So there are going to be interesting days ahead, given the kind of rhetoric that's coming out of the ANC now, given the kind of, revenge politics that seem likely to play out, and given the closing down of free expression that we've seen in recent weeks, attacks against journalists, attacks against MPs and other members of the ANC who have dared to speak out against Mr. Zuma, I think we're going to see far more of that. We're going to see increasing securitization around the presidency and around the person of the president himself in the run-up to the elective conference.
Quite concerning times ahead. Ayesha, we could keep talking, but I have to leave it there. Thanks for your time.